YouTube! Utopia is here and it is top tier. And it is sacky. Yes, this deck is sacky. If it goes second, you're aiming to sack your opponent. If you're going first, you make an unbeatable board that your opponent can't break. And I will show you the combo, so don't worry about it. Alright, so let's start by going over the monsters in the deck. So first, you have the Zexal Servants, which are the ZS monsters. Which are Ascended Sage and Armed Sage. So Ascended Sage can summon itself while you have no monsters on the field. Armed Sage summons itself while you only control one level 4 monster and nothing else. So your main starting combo is to start with Ascended Sage, special it into Armed Sage. It's really simple. There's really one line to this deck, and that's all you have to know. Then on top of it, you are playing your other key monster in the deck, which is Astraltopia. But before we get to that, Armed Sage and Ascended Sage have abilities when they are Exceed summoned to make a Utopia Exceed monster. Now that can be any Utopia Exceed. It can be double, it can be Utopia itself, but Armed Sage can add a ZW monster from deck to hand, while Ascended Sage can add a rank up spell from deck to hand. So giving you a +2 whenever you make a Utopia Exceed. So, that's that in a nutshell. Next, we have Astraltopia. So if an Exceed monster on the field, you can special summon this. Dweller, Roach, anything. Even a rank 5 or whatever not. So Astraltopia summons itself, and then you can discard a card to add an automatic Zexal, Exceed, or number spell trap from deck to hand. What you're always adding here is your numbers protection. So this is a counter trap. That's an omni negate. If you control a number Exceed, which you will, you can omni negate anything. Negate the activation of a card, and if you do, destroy it. Now, keep in mind this says spell trap, not spell trap effect. So something like continuous spell in the field will not be applied, or if they activate Gear Town's effect in the graveyard or fortress, that will also not negate that. This can only negate effects that activate on the field as far as spell and traps during their initial activation. So for example, if they again activate their Gear Town or Dark Contract with the gate, which you wouldn't want to negate Gear Town anyway because it would float, but that's beside the point. But if they would activate their Ancient Gear Fortress or a Dark Contract with the gate, we'd have to negate it immediately. So just keep that in mind. Also, there's another effect if a number Exceed would be destroyed by battle card effect while it's in the graveyard. You could set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So it can reset itself kind of like Salaman Great Roar, but worse. And you can only use one number's protection per turn. So Omni Negate, very, very good, obviously. Okay, moving on. Next, we have Zexal Weapon, Assura Strike. Let's go on to the Zexal Weapons. Okay, so first you have Pegasus Twin Saber. So this card, you can only control one. If your opponent's are 2 life points or 2,000 higher than yours, you can special summon it. Both that and Eagle Claw have the same effect, but you're really not using it for that effect. You're going to equip these from the deck with your Leo, with your Utopia Leo Ray. That's how you're going to get these on the field. So basically, I'm just going to go over their effects when they're equipped. So when this is equipped, and this gives you an extra monster negate on the field, and then when your Eagle Claw is equipped, that gives you an extra trap negate on the field. Now, I want to bring up that both of those negates are continuous effects, meaning that specifically for Eagle Claw, if they were to activate a counter trap, say a Salaman Great Roar or a Tachyon Transmigration, or even Numbers Protection, that will negate it. And I know you've been taught that, oh, but Sean, there's a counter traps are the last things that can be negated. No, not if you have a continuous effect on the field. So this will negate that. So do not try to counter trap something in response to an effect with this out, because the counter trap will be negated. So for example, if you activate a Book of Eclipse, they activate their Numbers Protection, you chain a Roar thinking it will go through because that's the last thing that goes, and then Eagle Claw will negate it. So don't do it. Alright, just giving you high advanced notice. The same with Twin Saber actually has an odd ruling as well. So normally you would think if you book a monster, that it will forget it, similar to Droplet, how you chain book and it flips it down, it forgets that it ever will negate it, that it ever was negated in the first place. Okay, this applies a bit differently, and I say this with reasoning here, because if Twin Saber, if that effect is activated on the field, this will activate and negate that effect. It won't lose that target. So even if you flip it down with like a Rash or a book or a booking type effect, then it will not lose the target. It will not forget it was negated. So just keep that in mind. Alright? That will go through. So, Twin Saber gives you an extra monster to gain the field, and Eagle Claw gives you an extra trap to get on the field. Both of these, if you time it right, can be really, really impactful because your opponent may not know that ruling, but here's Sean giving it to you right now. And then the last one we have is a Sure Strike. Now, this could also be used in the main combo if you don't draw access to another level 4 monster that you would need to make another Exceed. So, that can be used as a normal summon for your turn 1, but also this can be used as equip, and it will give it 1,000 attack, and then that Utopia monster can attack everything your opponent controls. However, this one can equip itself from the hand, unlike the other two. So if you draw this, you can also equip it from the hand, and then this will allow it to attack everything. Okay, so on top of that, we're running Double or Nothing. So Double or Nothing, this is irrelevant basically. You don't really use this that much. You can use it to OTK, but if you negate the monster's attack, you can target that monster during this battle phase. It can attack once again. It's doubled, so you can use your Utopia to negate a monster's attack or even its own, and then make that monster double its attack and attack again during the damage count step only. Then you have Rank Up Magic Limited Variance Force. This is very important because you want to use this turn 1. Basically, you're ranking this up in Leo Ray alongside making your other Leo Ray with Utopia Double, which I'll go over in a second. But this is very, very crucial because you don't want to use Numeron Force, otherwise you will negate your other Leo Ray on the field. Or if you made a Dweller or a Roach with it, you also negate that as well, so you don't want to be doing that. And you're equipped, so don't do it. You want to use this to rank up. Okay, and then 1 Rhoda, obviously, for consistency. 3 Lava Golem, because you don't need your normal summon the win going second, which makes this really broken alongside your Kaiju. And 3 Cosmic Cyclone to break your opponent's fields. Now, the one thing I want to bring up is that the mirror match is really, really sacky. So generally, whoever goes second is going to win. That's basically how the mirror goes. And also, you're probably asking, how many ZS Ascendant Sage do I need? Do I need to go multiple times through the box? If you get 1 and 3 Astraltopia, that will be playable. That is playable. It's not optimal because in an optimal way, you would want 2 Ascendant Sage, I feel. But you can get 3 if you really want to, but it's not needed. If you get 3 Astraltopia, you can play it with 1. You want to make sure you have enough room to fit your Texans, so I would generally stick this around 21 to 23 cards, somewhere in that range, but you can play this with 1 Ascendant Sage if you're on the free-to-play side. Now, the extra deck, we're playing 2 Leo Ray. You are more than welcome to play free. This is completely free to play. It takes 3 level 5 monsters to make it, but you're never summoning it that way. You're summoning it with your rank up spells. Okay? So once per turn, you can detach a material, equip 1 ZW from your deck, or extra deck. You could equip Leo Arms if you wanted to, but it's not needed. And then this effect, activation effect cannot be negated. So if they try to Veil her, it won't work. They have to Veil her either beforehand. No. They have to Veil her afterwards. They have to Veil her afterwards and force you to detach the material. Because otherwise, this effect cannot be negated, period. So just be careful. Alright? Not only the activation, but the effect cannot be negated. Alright, so be very careful with that. Now next, once per turn, while this card is equipped with a ZW monster card, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and if you do, half its attack. So again, this is good. This could just be a quick effect negate, and on top of that, we'll half their attack permanently. Not only in that turn, but permanently, and that's very important to understand. Alright? So again, this effect cannot be negated, which is really strong. If your opponent said, hey, I want to Veil it, they got to be very careful with that. Because if they Veil it, then it can't be negated and they'll still use the effect anyway. So you're going to have to force the material afterwards. If they don't go for the Tornado, bring her and attach it, make it untargetable. Which again is another option you can run, which would give it 1300 attack and make it untargetable. If you wanted to run that equipped spell from your deck as a Zexal weapon as well. Now, next we're playing Utopia Double. This card is insanely broken. So you make it with 2 level 4s, which is going to mostly be your Arm Sage and your Ascended Sage. And then you'll gain those effects as a Utopia monster. Quick effect, you detach this to add double or nothing to your hand, and then you can rank this up in the Leo Ray. So really, really strong. Easily rank up in the Leo Ray, and gives you a double or nothing, which you can use with the skill, which I'll go over in a second. Next, we're running Abyss Dweller, which is just obvious Dweller. You can run Ray if you want to, not needed. Utopia, Ixaton, Knight, Roach, and Popple Operative to put them to attack mode if they're trying to hide away in defense. Next, with the skill we're running is Zexal to Power of the Future. This skill is completely bonkers, so let me go over it. You can use the skill twice per duel, once per turn, all of it. You cannot special summon anything from the extra deck except for Exceeds. You're never link summoning with this. And you cannot special summon any monsters with spell or traps except for Utopia monsters with 100 attack and defense. Again, none of those restrictions ever come up. Going on. Can be activated by shuffling one card in the deck and revealing as the S monster or Astraltopian, and you can add up to 2 CS monsters or Astraltopia from deck to hand. So basically, let's say you open up your Ascended Sage, you shuffle back a card, and then you can add your Armed Sage and your Astraltopia, so you're all ready to go in combo. And if you're missing a level 4 on top of that, and you didn't open up another one of your level 4s, you can add your Assura Strike and then normal summon that as your level 4 to make your rank 4 on top of it. Also, the third effect is, can be activated by shuffling one card in your hand or field in the deck, reveal the form of one card in your hand, turning it into Numeron Force, and play one Utopia from outside the deck. So basically, you can reveal any card in your hand. You can shuffle any card from hand or field. Keep in mind, you can shuffle the Zexal equips if you don't need them all. So you can shuffle that as well into the end deck, and then change a card that you don't need in your hand into Numeron Force, and then Numeron Force, you'll get this to your hand. If you activate this, Numeron Force will allow you to rank up your Utopia into Leo Ray and negate the effects of all cards on the field. Now, like I said before, what I discussed about doing your combo, it will negate your cards as well, so be very careful with this. So pretend we're going first. So what we do is, let's just say we opened up one of these, and this is like your Armed Sage, Astraltopia. This will work if you open up your Armed Sage, Astraltopia, or your Ascended Sage. So we're just going to shuffle a card from hand or deck, reveal our Ascended Sage, or reveal whatever you open. So if you open your Astraltopia, your Armed Sage, or Ascended Sage, you reveal that, shuffle any other card from hand or deck, and then you add the other two you don't have. So in this case, I'm going to add Ascended Sage, my Armed Sage and Astraltopia, because I already opened Ascended Sage. So I'm going to special summon this, my Ascended Sage. Then you're going to special your Armed Sage. Next, we will make Utopia double. Next, we will trigger our Ascended and Armed Sage. Another thing you want to do is you don't want to chain Utopia double here, because if they have effect failure, then in a negate, you will lose the whole effect, because the Utopia monster is gaining these effects. So if you chain the rank up and they valor you, you will lose all those effects, because they're all part of Utopia's effects. Another thing too is the only time you would want to chain this, contradictory to just what I said, is if they were to how should I say it? Well, no, that's rarely going to come up to where you want to chain. The only time you would is that if they have a situation to where you want to use priority to use this effect on summon before they can respond with anything else. But that, again, rarely is going to come up. But, yeah. So if you know they have a back row that they want to maybe bottomless it or something, or book it, and you really want to get that +1 to your hand, then you can go ahead and chain this effect to rank it up using your priority on summon. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead here and add a Assura Strike. And then we're going to add our rank up spell. Then we can activate our... Then we're going to use doubles effect to rank up into Leo Ray. Then we'll activate the Leo Ray effect. Detaching a material to play, let's say, our Pegasus from the deck. And then what we're going to do is we're going to be able to special summon our Astraltopia. Now, as you can see here, we've already opened up the counter trap. So to gain a plus back, if we want to put this back in the deck, we can. So we can activate this. If you don't open up the counter trap, you can easily put back double or nothing. And then just morph something that you don't need in your hand. So in this case, we don't need our Cosmic. Even if we were not to have the extra card in hand, we could just morph the Cosmic Cyclone and be completely fine with that. Next, we'll discard our double or nothing to search our counter trap. And then we can normal summon our Assure Strike. Say if this was Shadow's, we can make Dweller. You could also Exceed Summon first before summoning Utopia, but I did it the other way because I already had the counter trap in hand. Or we don't have to discard the counter trap at all. We could actually just rank up and keep the counter trap and not have to discard an extra card. I went a little bit more minus than I had to, but we could have just kept the counter trap and not searched for Astraltopia, but I wanted to show you that you could do that anyway. And next, we're going to use Variance Force. We're not going to use Numeron Force, because again, like I said before, that will negate your whole field. And then we're going to rank up into our second Leo rank. Again, very simple. And then here, you could play the Eagle if you want to, for your trap negate. Set your counter trap, and then end turn. So here you have one Omni negate, you have a Dweller. So this is 2 disruptions if you're going up against something like Shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 disruptions because you have 3 negates here. And then 2 here. And if you want to really count the trap negate, that could be 6 forms of disruption against your opponent. Again, how strong are those disruptions? It really depends on that matchup. But yeah, very, very good. If you go up against Resonator, you can make your Roach and then prevent them from synchroing. Same with Speedroids. So you have options against different matchups that are in the game. Alright, on to the replays. So as you can see, guys, this deck slaps and it claps. If you want to sack your opponent, this is the deck for you. It's definitely top tier, and it can definitely be made free to play. Tomorrow, during the WCQ, we are climbing with Shadal, day 1, so don't miss it. Be there, be square. We're going to go for max with Shadal. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, tips, whatever, come over there, like, comment, sub. Make sure you are there for the stream. But until next time, this is your boy Shoma Try, signing out. Bye, YouTube. Bye. Like, comment, sub.